Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are mapping out a truly fascinating and honestly pretty esoteric theory from our source material. We're going to take our standard earthly perspective and just blow it up to a massive universal scale to answer some of the absolute biggest questions about human existence. It all starts with one fundamental question. Why on earth do human races and religions endlessly clash? I mean, for centuries, we've struggled with ideological and racial divisions, right? It's literally the ultimate historical mystery. Why, despite all our technological and social advancements, can't we not just seem to coexist peacefully? Historians and philosophers have been banging their heads against the wall over this forever. But the material we're looking at today offers an explanation that completely bypasses traditional geopolitics. To explore this highly unconventional answer, we're diving into a text by Ryuho Okawa called Messages from Outer Space Part 2. And this book proposes a vast cosmic-scale answer to this very terrestrial problem of conflict. So instead of looking at, borders drawn on a map or historical grievances between nations, this source suggests the actual root of our earthly friction originates way, way beyond our own atmosphere. We'll be focusing heavily on Chapter 1, titled The Space Age and the Truth of Buddhist Teachings. This opening chapter establishes the foundational premise of our source. Humanity is actually formed by souls that were specifically invited here from various other planets to understand the secrets of universal creation. Okay, so this requires a pretty dramatic shift in how we view ourselves, a sort of massive cosmic zoom out. According to the text, what we perceive as these deep-seated earthly differences, our clashing cultures, the different religious dogmas, the racial tensions, they are actually just the surface-level results of incredibly diverse, deeply ingrained extraterrestrial value systems. Basically, we aren't just bumping heads because we live on different continents. We're clashing because, spiritually speaking, we come from entirely different worlds. The mechanics of this theory actually follow a very specific three-step sequence. Step 1, souls were actively invited to Earth from all across the cosmos. Step 2, these diverse souls then incarnated into physical bodies, which became the various human races spread across our globe. And Step 3, and this is absolutely crucial, a kind of collective amnesia sets in. These incarnated souls literally forget their cosmic origins. And this profound forgetfulness is exactly what breeds our earthly ideological conflicts. We've completely forgotten that we're a cosmic melting pot, so we end up fighting over differences we no longer understand. Just to give you an idea of the sheer scale of these clashing ideologies, the source actually catalogs a massive variety of extraterrestrial beings that are currently incarnated as humans, just walking among us. This cosmic genealogy includes reptilians, vegans, Dogons, Pleiadians, Venusians, and even Martians. The text asserts that each and every one of these groups brings a totally unique, planet-specific set of values and spiritual inclinations to Earth, just dumping them all into one shared earthly environment. So let's break down exactly what those differing values actually look like according to the source. Take the reptilians, for example. The text describes this specific group as possessing a value system fundamentally rooted in the principle of evolution. Their core ideology, brought directly from their home star system, centers heavily on competition, survival, and continuous evolutionary progression. When you think about the intense, cutthroat competition we see all the time in human society, whether it's in business or politics, you can kind of start to see how injecting a highly competitive, evolution-driven soul group into the mix might create some serious friction. Now contrast that highly competitive nature with the vegans. The text outlines a completely different spiritual signature for this group. The source links vegan souls heavily to the concepts of miraculous healing. Fascinatingly, the book even has a section claiming that Jesus was resurrected within a spaceship, directly associating this miraculous event with souls of vegan origin. So right there, you have an ideology based on miraculous salvation and healing sitting directly next to that reptilian ideology of competitive evolution. Talk about a recipe for misunderstanding, right? Meanwhile, we've got the Pleiadians. The text characterizes these beings as cosmic space merchants. Their intrinsic nature is heavily tied to trade, exchange, and interaction. But the book also suggests that their presence and influence are intertwined with ongoing earthly ethnic and religious disputes. When you have fundamentally different groups, some driven by evolution, some by miracles, some by cosmic commerce, and all of them have entirely forgotten where they came from, well, intense misunderstanding and conflict are pretty much the inevitable earthly results. Moving on to Chapter 5, The Significance of Dialogues with Aliens. The text suggests that the very purpose of uncovering these space readings is to finally understand these hidden differences so we can actually begin resolving our earthly conflicts. But as the author argues, merely identifying these differences just isn't enough. I mean, simply pointing out that we are fundamentally different doesn't magically create peace, right? The ultimate solution proposed by the text is the establishment of what it calls a unified law of the universe. This is presented as a necessary, overarching cosmic framework. Its entire purpose is to harmonize and organize these vastly different and sometimes completely contradictory extraterrestrial value systems so they can finally function together. So the overarching goal here is pretty clear. On one side of the coin, we have our current state of fragmented extraterrestrial values, which is resulting in all these earthly conflicts. On the other side is the proposed solution. The text emphasizes that harmonizing this sheer chaos of 1,000 different planetary mindsets requires bringing them all under one absolute universal truth, which it ultimately aligns with fundamental Buddhist teachings. It's really all about organizing this huge amount of diverse cosmic noise into actual spiritual harmony. Now, the text definitely acknowledges that this is no small feat. Unlocking the secret of Earth's diversity and actually organizing these deeply ingrained cosmic values into a completed law of the universe is a monumental task. The source notes that this process is going to require profound understanding, immense effort, and most importantly, time. It's a slow, painstaking process of spiritual diplomacy on a literal cosmic scale, which really mirrors the exact challenges we face in our own earthly attempts at international diplomacy. As this explainer wraps up, we want to leave you with a question to ponder based on everything we've just unpacked. If humanity's roots truly do lie in the stars, as this text vehemently argues, how will acknowledging this cosmic genealogy change our future here on Earth? If we start reframing our terrestrial conflicts not as localized hatreds but as a massive cosmic misunderstanding, it could fundamentally alter the trajectory of human history. It's a vast, staggering perspective on exactly who we are and why we fight. Thanks so much for joining me to unpack this fascinating source material.